Tonight, holding steady, no change to the central bank's key interest rate, opting for consistency in the face of uncertainty.
The tariffs have a permanent effect on the economy unless they're removed.
Plus, housing for the homeless.
It's a community, and it's right here on Parkwood, where historically the veterans have been looked after.
Building a village supporting those who served. And fastball's revival.
It feels great to see the sport coming back.
The local ball team heading west for a shot at a national championship.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with what the Bank of Canada is calling a holding pattern. No change today to the bank's key interest rate, steady at 2.75%. As Rachel Ayello reports, when it does change one direction or the other, it will be once there's more clarity on the trade war with the U.S.
Uncertainty over the future of the Canada-U.S. trade war is clouding the economic outlook in this country, prompting the central bank to again hold its key interest rate at 2.75%.
Growth in spending by Canadian businesses and households is being restrained by uncertainty, and new U.S. tariffs are having profound impacts on directly affected sectors.
Today, this country's top banker said future inflation projections hinge on the outcome of the ongoing cross-border trade talks.
The tariffs have a permanent effect on the economy unless they're removed.
The decision was widely forecasted by the big banks, but came as a shock to Ontario Premier Doug Ford. He said staring down the economic uncertainty, it's never been more important to stimulate growth, and called on the central bank to cut interest rates now. How would you respond to that?
Look, we take our decisions independently of the political process. We are going to make sure that a tariff problem does not become an inflation problem.
That tariff problem only growing today, with U.S. President Donald Trump announcing 50% tariffs on certain copper imports, citing national security. The sudden announcement adding to the pressure Prime Minister Mark Carney and his cabinet are facing. With the clock ticking and no new trade pact in sight, economists say there's a lot riding on Canada getting a good deal.
That's why I think, you're seeing Canada sort of running the clock.
Though Trump's envoy to Canada still thinks there's a chance of an agreement by Friday.
It's Wednesday today, so you've got at least 48 hours and maybe up to 72 hours, but a lot of things happen at a close of a negotiation.
That time for Canadian companies like Algoma Steel is of the essence. Today, the company suspended its dividend after posting major losses, saying tariffs played a large part. Rachel Ayello, CTV News, Ottawa.
A tsunami threat is over for millions of people living in coastal regions surrounding the Pacific Ocean. Alerts were issued last night following a major 8.8 magnitude earthquake detected in the far eastern part of Russia. Local media reports several people sought medical help after the earthquake, but no serious injuries have been reported. Russian scientists say this was the most powerful earthquake to hit the region since 1952. Tsunami heights between 3 and 5 meters have been reported in parts of coastal Russia, which are sparsely populated, with no reports of significant damage.
Good evening. Back here at home, we still have heat warnings in place for some areas, so stretching through Haldimand, Norfolk, Niagara area, Brant County, Hamilton, and Toronto. We also have a special air quality statement in effect for Grey and Bruce County. Forest fire smoke has made its way further south today. You can see the high concentration of black carbon in through northern Ontario and central Quebec. So as we head into tomorrow, once again, we'll be watching that smoke. So we could see some localized smoke, especially in through Grey and Bruce. Air quality poor in parts of Bruce County tonight, moderate in London. So as you head out for your evening activities, just be aware of that. Temperatures right now, it's a hot one, anywhere from 29 to 30, but not quite as hot as it was yesterday. Our Humidex is reading anywhere from 34 to 36, so still quite warm. Cooling down a bit in Midwestern Ontario. We do have some showers coming through. Light rainfall moving in overnight. We've had a few pop-up showers. I'll take you through the forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Julie. We have breaking news from Parliament Hill. Prime Minister Mark Carney has announced Canada will officially recognize a Palestinian state.
For the reasons I cited earlier, Canada intends to recognize the state of Palestine at the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly in September 2025. This intention is predicated on the Palestinian Authority's commitment to much-needed reforms, including commitments by the Palestinian Authority's President Abbas to fundamentally reform its governance.
As mentioned, this is a developing story. The very latest on this is available on our website. We'll have more tonight on CTV News at 11. London police say a late-night crash sent 4 people to hospital, one of them with life-threatening injuries. Police say it happened just before midnight at Highbury and Huron Street. 2 vehicles were involved, closing down the intersection in all directions for the police investigation. According to emergency officials, the 3 other people taken to hospital have serious injuries that are not life-threatening. Provincial police say they've reopened eastbound lanes of the 402 in Sarnia. They shut the highway down Monday because of heaving pavement near Waterworks Side Road. Lambton OPP detoured traffic between Airport Road and Mondawmin Road. The spot was only a short distance from where the highway buckled under extreme heat last month. A London psychologist has had her certification and license revoked after 3 serious misconduct incidents. Ontario's College of Psychologists and Behavior Analysts held a disciplinary hearing today for Tatiana Zadeb. She operated a mental health support service for years on Wharncliffe Road South. She has pleaded guilty to illegally administering drugs like ketamine, as well as having a sexual relationship with another. She also called herself a doctor while never obtaining a PhD. Her lawyer told the hearing Zadeb is remorseful. A new village of tiny homes is coming to the Parkwood campus in South London. 25 structures will be constructed specifically for local veterans experiencing homelessness. With more on the project, here's Brian Bicknell.
For those who served, the return to civilian life is not always easy, according to Jamie Hackland.
A lot of fellows come away from their service with many problems, and so I suppose that has a lot to do with it.
The Canadian Navy veteran and resident of the Parkwood Veterans Care Program was in the crowd when plans for a new veterans village were unveiled. The initiative aims to support the estimated 200 veterans in London and the surrounding areas who are living on the streets.
This project is for you. Sorry. You have served our country, and now it's our time to serve you with care, with dignity, and with lasting support.
The village will be right here on the grounds of Parkwood. 25 tiny homes, the lives of 25 veterans made better by the supports close at hand. The village will house a resource center, community gardens, and recreational area. Each home is 300 square feet and fully furnished.
And more importantly, it's a community. And it's right here on Parkwood, where historically the veterans have been looked after.
Add some structure to their life, assign a social worker to a caseworker to rebuild that citizen. So filling in those gaps.
More than 2/3 of the $4 million project has been funded by all 3 levels of government. Private contributions are being sought to cover the balance. Construction begins this year with an opening date set for next spring.
Some of these veterans can be stubborn, and hopefully you can get the place filled up, and a lot of guys will have a better quality of life because of it.
Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
An Ontario court has partially overturned a decision to dock a Chatham-Kent councillor's pay over social media posts. Travis Fortnum has more on the ruling and the reaction.
After nearly 2 years of political drama, Chatham-Kent Councillor Rhonda Jubenville is celebrating, at least in part, a win.
I'm very happy. I'm pleased with the decision.
The decision she is talking about comes from a panel of Ontario judges who overturned part of a report that led to her being suspended without pay back in 2023. Chatham-Kent's Integrity Commissioner found Jubenville breached Council's code of conduct over a failed motion to limit which flags fly at municipal buildings, a motion she says was misunderstood.
In my opinion, I feel like my motion was hijacked, and some people felt that I was targeting them, but that was never the intention.
After the motion was defeated, Jubenville made a series of social media posts, which the commissioner ruled were inappropriate and warranted a 3-month pay suspension. But those judges have now overturned part of that finding, ruling it was unreasonable to say councillors can't keep advocating after a vote or speak out on issues beyond council's control, though a separate finding still stands, that some posts crossed a line into abuse or intimidation.
I would have been happy if I was completely exonerated, I guess you could say, but I think it's a positive direction where the outcome will go.
The court set aside council's decision and sent the matter back to the Integrity Commissioner, who will now decide if a penalty is still warranted.
The code of conduct needs to be precise.
Governance expert Richard LeBlanc says the case should prompt municipalities to tighten up their policies.
The clarity of the code and the process are very important, because as an Integrity Commissioner, you really want to bulletproof yourself.
Jubenville tells CTV News Chatham-Kent's code has already been updated since this all began as part of a regularly mandated review.
I'm just glad that I can work together with my colleagues on council, and I'm hopeful that we can put this behind us and work together and on things that are important in Chatham-Kent.
The municipality says it won't comment until legal counsel has reviewed the decision and did not provide a response by deadline.
Travis Fortnum, CTV News.
It's been 40 years since an 8-year-old girl disappeared in Toronto, leading to what police call the largest missing person investigation in that city's history. Today, police offered a $50,000 reward for any new leads. With more, here's Janice Golding.
This is the negative of Nicole's photo that was used at the time that she went missing.
The negative Melissa Ellischek is holding is what police used in 1985 to print missing posters of her best friend, Nicole Moran, just 8 years old when she disappeared from their Etobicoke apartment building.
It's something that I have that I can hold on to and that I can keep, and it just reminds me to have hope.
Today, on the 40th anniversary of her disappearance, police released an age-progressed image of what it's believed Moran would look like now at age 48.
That Nicole was amazing and fun, and we enjoyed so much time together, swimming, playing, laughing, walking to school. I miss that Nicole, but I would love to meet this Nicole.
On July 30th, 1985, Nicole Moran left her apartment to go swimming with a friend, but never arrived.
I lived in the building. I still do live in the building, so I remember it like it was yesterday. And it was just so sad and so tragic.
Despite an extensive investigation, the largest that had ever occurred in our city, Moran has never been found.
I remember the police being here and the police coming into every suite, checking cupboards and rooms and whatever.
And while the case may be cold, it is not closed. Police today offering a $50,000 reward for information leading to the whereabouts of the missing woman.
It has never been forgotten, and it only takes one piece of new information to make that difference.
And don't lose hope. Time has passed, yes. But Nicole is counting on us.
Despite all the years that have passed, those who knew Moran say they are still praying she will be found.
In my heart of hearts, I believe she's still alive. And God, I hope that she's found and well.
I know that you probably don't know who you are, but there are people here that care about you, that love you, that miss you. And we're doing everything we can to find you. And if you think that you may be Nicole, if you don't know what your past is, I would encourage you to come forward.
Gone, but not forgotten. Ellischek adding, there is no doubt in her mind someone knows something that could give those who love Moran some answers and some peace.
Janice Golding, CTV News.
The father from Montreal accused of killing his 9-year-old daughter has been denied bail, facing second-degree murder accusations. With the latest on that case, here's Jean-Pierre Beauchemin.
Yes, these court documents, as well as the appearance of a father before a New York State court, reveal new details about the case. Fatolin was wearing a gray suit, no tie, as he appeared in Ticonderoga, a small town nearly 2.5 hours drive from Montreal.
He maintains his innocence.
He pleaded not guilty to grand jury indictments of second-degree murder in the drowning death of Melina Fatolin and concealment of a human corpse. On that count, the indictment alleges that he did conceal his daughter's human corpse by placing it in a wooded area in water near a fallen tree with a rock on top of the corpse. Fatolin took Melina from Montreal on a father-daughter trip south of the border in early July. Police say he fabricated a story that she was kidnapped by someone in a white van, and the 9-year-old girl's body was found in shallow water.
He has no ties to the United States.
The court heard today that Fatolin has an Italian and an Ethiopian passport, and that he has residences both in Canada and in Ethiopia. If released, his lawyer argued he planned to stay with a friend in New York City and had no reason to run. But the prosecution told the court that he's a flight risk, pointing to his passports and assets. Fatolin was denied bail. He will be back in court on August 19th, and his jury trial is tentatively scheduled for January. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
The family of a man from Toronto who was killed while vacationing in Costa Rica this month say he was shot during a home invasion. Allison Hurst has more on their search for closure.
Christopher Deere had just arrived in Costa Rica with his girlfriend when his family says he was killed a day later in a violent attempted robbery at their vacation rental.
Just coming out of a room and somebody shoots you because they're trying to rob you, and for what?
His family tells CTV News the 40-year-old was shot on July 11th near the coastal town of Tamarindo. A member of the Costa Rica Organism of Judiciary Investigation says in an email they cannot provide further details because the case is under investigation. Global Affairs says it is aware of the death of a Canadian citizen in Tamarindo, Costa Rica. We express our sincere condolences to the family and friends. Consular officials are in contact with local authorities to gather more information. Deere's brother says in a statement, Chris was a seeker, driven by an insatiable curiosity about the deeper questions of life. He was passionate about philosophy and applied his studies to nurturing his relationships with vast people from all walks of life that he was involved with. And that he was very close to his family and friends. He had a great sense of humor and a smile that would light up a room. We are all in shock that such a loving and generous soul lost his life in such a tragic and senseless way. Deere was a life coach who was able to work remotely and had plans to stay in Costa Rica for up to 6 months. He was also a blue belt in jiu-jitsu with aspirations to earn his black belt.
If he, still was with us, he would for sure get that rank. He had the strength and the determination to go there, and he told me one day I want to become a black belt. So that's why it was important.
Greg King was Deere's coach, and he honored him in a ceremony yesterday, awarding him that black belt posthumously. His family and peers were there, and his medals and green kimono.
The green kimono is very particular. And I was like, it's like the army green. And we're like, why do you wear this? He's like, I don't know. I just like it. I was like, well, okay, if you like it, then good. We like it too. So everybody yesterday was laughing about that because it was like, oh, that's the kimono that everybody knew him to wear.
His family wants answers and justice, saying we are hoping to have closure in this tragedy and waiting to see if the OIJ in Costa Rica is able to protect and bring justice to Canadians visiting Costa Rica. Allison Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
One of the most common complaints at City Hall, speeding drivers cutting through residential neighborhoods. Usually it's frustrated residents airing their grievances, but as Daryl Newcomb reports, 2 city councillors are now asking why more isn't being done.
They just gun it straight down here. Father to a special needs child, Andrew Roberts is terrified about the dangerous driving behaviors he witnesses in front of his home on Waterloo Street in Soho. He blames the cut-through traffic on drivers avoiding the construction and congestion along Wellington and Horton. Cutting through residential areas at excessive speeds because of the backlog of bottlenecking with the traffic. And this sign prohibiting trucks hasn't prevented drivers from using this residential street to access nearby commercial businesses as well as construction sites. Come on.
I think the city needs to wake up and realize that this is a bigger issue. It's not just me. It's not just one neighbor.
If the concerns being raised by residents along this stretch of Waterloo Street sound familiar, it's probably because City Hall is receiving complaints from neighborhoods right across the city about drivers' bad behavior. Earlier this month at City Hall, a discussion by the Infrastructure and Corporate Services Committee about a request for another school crossing guard in Old South emphasized the citywide scope of the problem and need for a more effective deterrent.
We shouldn't be surprised that the cut-through traffic is getting worse and worse and worse.
It's an issue of people speeding, which it seems to be, and careless driving.
Councillor Hadley McAllister expressed hope that the reconstituted traffic division at the London Police Service will help curb some of the behaviour.
I hope also LPS is listening, takes that on board. We obviously need those traffic infractions dealt with.
I would love for the police to do an enforcement blitz, targeting, commercial vehicles and excessive speed, especially down in the Soho neighborhoods.
This week, Soho's ward councillor David Ferreira sent a letter to Civic Administration looking for solutions to several of the safety concerns being raised. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
Londoners have 6 new locations to recycle household batteries.
So we're very happy today to announce that our program is officially expanding across the City of London with more accessible drop-off locations and greater public education awareness efforts to let everyone know that batteries don't belong in the trash and they need to be recycled responsibly.
The city has partnered with Call to Recycle Canada, setting up battery recycling canisters inside 6 city locations. They include East Lyons and South London community centres, along with the Central Library branch and Storybook Gardens. Officials say the program comes at no cost to taxpayers. A local service club is sponsoring rides and attractions for kids at this year's Western Fair. The Forest City London Kiwanis Club presented a $10,000 check to the Western Fair District this afternoon. Officials say the money will fund a new Kiddieland space next to the popular barn attraction.
We look at the Western Fair as London's largest community celebration. We're fast approaching our 150th edition of the fair, and this type of sponsorship really helps us make sure that we get there.
Well, our whole motto in Kiwanis is one child, one village at a time around the world. And we want to make sure that we nurture toddler stage and through. This would be a great event for them to learn to engage their brain in ways that are going to make them and fulfill them as they grow older. And have some fun, have some excitement, because there's no better way to learn than having a laugh.
Coming up, it's the Tee Up with Brent Lale. He introduces us to the Fingal baseball team playing fastball at the Canadian Championships 5 years into the sport's local revival.
Stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's latest.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. ctvlondon.ca, your home for news.
Well, welcome back. It's time for the Tee Up with Brent Lale. And Brent, we're starting with a hockey story in the middle of summer. The World Junior Showcase is underway in Minnesota.
Yeah, Canada is playing Finland in its first of 3 games over the next 4 days. Games against Sweden and the U.S. will give management an early look at potential players for this winter's tournament. There's Dale Hunter, who's been given the reins this year to lead Canada back to gold for the first time since 2023. After a 5th place finish a year ago, Hockey Canada has brought in Dale and his brother Mark on the management side to try to put together a winning team. Coming off a Memorial Cup title, Dale has coached this team once before. He won gold back in 2020 when they beat Russia in the final.
In the middle of the summers, I got to give a credit to all the teams that are coming here, and we're having a camp. And I watched a couple games today, and I watched practice today. The speed and the intensity out there is already here.
He wants to win just as bad as the players want to win, and the preparation that he puts in with his game plans and pre-scouts and how well he knows the other team and that thing, it's unparalleled. Him and Mark have created the best junior hockey program in the CHL for a reason, and I think he just brings what he brings everywhere he goes, and that's just a winning pedigree, championships. You look at his resume; it's all it's ever been for him, and I'm sure for him and Mark, it's going to be a lot of the same here.
Quite a haul on the gridiron for local high school football programs.
Yes, the London Junior Mustangs sent all 5 of its teams to the championship games and are bringing back some hardware to the Forest City.
Thompson with his first pass attempt of the game holds it up high. We got a touchdown, London Mustangs!
Andre Thompson, who was thrown into quarterback duty this year after a couple of injuries, helped the Mustangs win the 18U title in back-to-back seasons. Trailing Burlington in the second half, they had a string of about 7 consecutive plays, which turned a deficit into a blowout win. This program has solidified itself as the top organization in the OSFL.
It starts at the top, having the Western Mustangs be so successful. I played at Western. A lot of my friends who played that stayed in the area, they coach now, which has led to an excellent high school, program all across the city. I think we have the most competitive, if not the best, high school league, in the province. And then that works its way through to the Junior Mustangs in competitive football as well.
And Brent, a local fastball team is competing this week for a national championship in Saskatoon.
Yeah, the Fingal Storm U20 team is at the Canadians right now. A huge 3-run double was part of a wild 14-9 win over Newfoundland Labrador in their opening game of the tournament. Fingal is the first team from the St. Thomas Southold area to qualify in nearly 30 years. Once a fixture in every rural southwestern Ontario town, fastball is making a comeback.
5 years ago, a bunch of fastball dads said, you know what, we need to revive this sport for the kids again.
In Fingal, just southwest of London, they've slowly brought the game back, going from 0 youth teams to 5.
We get to play our home games on Thursday nights, and there's a lot of kids that come out and watch us in Fingal jerseys, so it feels cool to be a role model for them and also to bring fastball back to these rural communities, like to represent Southwold and also the municipality of West Elgin and everywhere else.
It feels great to see the sport coming back. Like there's, all the young kids playing here in Fingal now, which I haven't seen in a long time. For the longest time, we were the youngest age group playing fastball, and it's just really nice to see that it's coming back finally now.
For anyone who hasn't watched this game at the highest level, it's a game of speed and power.
It'll be a very fast game compared to what you're thinking of with the MLB. Everything's so much closer and smaller. And it's just, in my opinion, it's faster and more entertaining to watch.
The U20 group, which started the revival 5 years ago, has qualified for the national championship. They are currently in Saskatoon.
I like the young attitude they have. They come to the park every day trying to win ball games, but they're also learning at the same time. They listen well. They're not afraid to try some adventurous things, and sometimes you got to rein them back in. But this group loves the game as much as the coaches do, and it's kind of fun. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and they're pretty pumped.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
We're talking about watching that story, Julie. I grew up with a lot of fastball in my neck of the woods in northern Ontario. I'll be seeing some of that when I go back up there for the long weekend. Beautiful weekend for outdoor sports is shaping up down here.
Yeah, gorgeous conditions actually right across the area. So heading to northern Ontario, lots of sunshine and cooler conditions. We have some cloud cover out there as we head to Rotary Cove Beach in Goderich. You can see a fairly thick deck of cloud that is settled in. And as we head to Grand Bend right now, you can see some cloud cover. It was a busy day on area beaches. Grand Bend was full. I like to watch those cams and see how the weather shapes up across our area. In terms of our high today, we did make it all the way to 29.8 degrees. That was recorded at the London airport this afternoon. And our low temperature is 17, so still above normal. Right now, 29. The winds out of the north-northeast, but fairly light on the hour at just 7 kilometers. We have a little bit of light rainfall that's made its way into the Bruce Peninsula tonight. We do have some air quality issues with some localized smoke expected. We had some localized smoke today, leading to some hazy conditions, and that same weather story heading into tomorrow. Now, we will see this rain fill in across the region overnight. We do have some spotty showers out ahead of it, and we've had some thunderstorms towards Essex County and Chatham-Kent. Now, this is a wave of low pressure that's riding along a frontal boundary to the south, which has stalled out. As this wave comes through overnight and into tomorrow morning, some rain. We need the rainfall, that's for sure. When we look back at the month of July, we are definitely in a deficit, receiving about half of what we typically see. As we head into tomorrow, rain first thing in the morning, but clearing by the afternoon, and then a big area of high pressure will be building in. So you can see it come through the forecast model. Areas towards Huron and Perth County, just a slight chance for showers overnight. Grey and Bruce County as well, just overcast. It'll be first thing tomorrow morning. Most of that rain will be along the northern shoreline of Lake Erie and the counties adjacent. So in and around Chatham, Elgin County, so St. Thomas through Port Stanley and eastward, but brushing by London. So likely some rainfall first thing in the morning. By the afternoon, the skies will start to clear, and we're back into a nice mix of sun and cloud. So nice conditions as we head into the weekend. Friday looking beautiful. A dominant ridge of high pressure will be in play across the area. Cool nights, beautiful warm days, and really some picture perfect weather. So 15 to 17 degrees overnight, 18 to 20 near the shoreline of Huron and Erie. Your Thursday forecast will start the day with a little bit of light rainfall. The winds out of the northeast tomorrow. We could see some gusty conditions, 20 with gusts to 40, but the forecast high still coming in at 26. Our Metal Roof Outlet forecast for your Friday: sun. Saturday, sun. Sunday, sun. Monday, a nice mix of sun and cloud. It's great when a long weekend shapes up like this with no big variables coming in, no fly in the ointment at this point. 26 to 28 degrees, beautiful. Mix of sun and cloud Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Daytime highs 27 to 28. Humidity levels comfortable, tolerable. So in terms of that extreme heat we've been dealing with, that'll be history. It'll be able to open up your windows this weekend, let some nice fresh air in, gorgeous conditions. Hopefully we'll get rid of that forest fire smoke. But in terms of our forecast tomorrow, we do have some localized smoke, especially towards Grey and Bruce County. That will affect the air quality. So if you are planning to exercise outdoors or spend some time exerting yourself outside, just be aware, especially if you are elderly or very young. Lots of sunshine Friday, Saturday, Sunday. A beautiful long weekend setting up. Crisp, clear conditions. It's going to be one of those weekends where it's great to be outside at night. You can grab a sweatshirt and some jeans, and beautiful sunny days, great beach weather with lots of sunshine, and daytime highs into the upper 20s. Carlyle, back to you.
Thanks very much, Julie. Still ahead, a local documentary detailing a major explosion in southwestern Ontario. The historical story with a message the director hopes will resonate today.
We're coming up to a big weekend, the August long weekend just around the corner. TJ, you were telling me of big plans to celebrate.
Yeah, because summer vacation is halfway over, which means school's almost back, and I don't care because I don't have exams.
We're not talking about school, we're not talking about Halloween. We're enjoying the summer weather while it's here, TJ.
Join us on the show tomorrow morning at 6 a.m.
Welcome back. Canadian Tire officials have announced corporate layoffs. They say the cuts are part of a 4-year, $2 billion restructuring plan. They are refusing to say just how many people are losing their jobs. Officials say the decision was made to better compete in the retail market. The corporation reported a strong first quarter in 2025 and will announce second quarter results next week. The Ontario government has torn up a $100 million contract with Elon Musk's Starlink internet service. The deal was signed to provide internet for about 15,000 homes in northern Ontario. Ontario will now have to pay an unknown fee to break the deal, but the province says it is considerably less than the original contract. New reporting suggests the global average cost of a data breach has dropped for the first time in 5 years, but not in Canada. The research comes from IBM and the Ponemon Institute, showing the average cost of a breach between March 2024 and February 2025 dropped to $6.4 million. However, in Canada, the average cost rose to nearly $7 million. According to IBM, the rising costs in Canada are from slower adoption of AI-based defenses and and gaps in governance. Thousands of Canada Post workers have until Friday to vote on the Crown Corporation's so-called final offer. After last year's strike, it took months to clear the postal backlog. But as Pat Foran reports, even today, some customers say their mail is still missing.
Ethan Thorogood of Toronto has volunteered to help children's causes in Africa. He decided to go to Kenya and Ghana for 3 months this summer to continue his humanitarian work. In the spring, he used Express Post to mail his passport, proof of vaccines, and other documents to the Ghana consulate in the GTA.
I checked back a few days later to see where it was at, being delivered to the consulate, and it was lost and nowhere to be found.
Once the documents were officially declared lost, Thorogood had to scramble to replace all the missing paperwork at an additional cost to him of $750.
Cost a lot financially and certainly emotionally as well.
He was able to get new paperwork in time to make the trip. Canada Post gave him $100, the maximum insurance for Express Post. His mother, Lara, felt he deserved much more.
He's going to volunteer, and that's $750 would come in very, very handy, either towards his flight or helping the kids while he's there.
A Canada Post spokesperson told CTV News, "We apologize to the customer and recognize the importance of meeting the expectations of Canadians across the country."
This is actually the registered mail tag.
Sarah Isaacs of Mississauga had to mail confidential documents in February for a family member. They were medical records for her insurance company.
Because it's confidential medical information, I said I'm going to send it through Canada Post as a registered letter.
Isaacs kept checking to see when her registered letter would arrive. More than 5 months later, Canada Post still has no idea where it went.
They lost my letter. And now they're basically saying they refuse to do anything about it.
Canada Post told CTV News, "This is an unfortunate situation and we apologize to the customer that their registered letter still has not been delivered." Canada Post says it takes it very seriously whenever a letter, package, or parcel goes missing. Isaacs is frustrated her family's private documents have disappeared.
You can't lose registered mail. That's absolutely insane.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
Checking today's market numbers in Toronto, the TSX dropped 169 points. Mixed results in New York. The Dow fell 171. The Nasdaq gained 31. The Canadian dollar was down 1/5 of a cent. On commodities, gold lost 28.40 an ounce. Oil added 79 cents a barrel. Later on CTV News, back in the driver's seat after a serious crash. The southwestern Ontario woman who lost a leg now learning how to manage life with a prosthetic. Welcome back. A local documentary is into production chronicling one of the worst workplace disasters in Ontario's history.
On August 14, 1957, right here in Dresden, Ontario, an excavation collapsed. 6 men were buried alive. It was Ontario's worst workplace tragedy. But today, this story is unknown.
The film is called Dresden Explosion, 1957. 6 Dutch immigrants were killed. The director's father was an engineer on the project who warned the owners the area was not safe. Using preserved records, the film is looking into what happened and the tragedy's impact on the survivors and their loved ones.
If a story of this magnitude can disappear, how are we ever going to be a society that will honor an individual life that's lost in the workplace? So I'm really hoping this is a kind of a bit of a wake up for all of us, that this issue is happening, it's still happening, and that the families, the least they should get from the rest of us is recognition, awareness.
New data is shedding light on the impact Canada's foreign student cap is having on southwestern Ontario colleges. As Alexandra Hollick reports, international enrollment is down significantly, with colleges now cutting jobs and programs.
Just over 8,500 international students are enrolled at Conestoga College this semester, a drastic drop from more than 22,600 last spring.
We can see the difference in the number of students that we're seeing on site. So I'm not surprised.
Vicky Poirier is the president of a local union representing full-time and part-time support staff at the college, a sector that saw around 180 jobs slashed earlier this year.
Some of that work isn't gone. It's there now, and it's unfortunately being absorbed by our members.
She says the college is moving backwards by cutting back in areas that need the most support.
Our writing consultants, our scheduling area, our student success advisors, those are student services. Those are roles that provide support to students.
As for whether the cuts were warranted,
we don't know where things are at right now. So we can't even say that the cuts that were made to our job force were supported.
But as international enrollment falls, the number of domestic students is on the rise. The college reporting a 28% increase in domestic enrollment this spring, with nearly 3,500 students. Fall confirmations are up by almost 15%, College President John Tibbetts says in a statement to CTV News. We will continue adjusting operations to enrollment and remain optimistic for the future.
It'll be interesting to see how the areas and the campuses look in September. I mean, I don't think our students are going to get the services or the quality and the quantity of services that were available before July.
Alexandra Holick, CTV News.
Federal Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre took part in a by-election debate last night in the Alberta riding he's trying to win.
Look, I'll be honest, having a leader of a political party as your local member of parliament is a trade-off. On the one hand, the leader, in truth, lives in hotel rooms. At the other side, though, is that leader can bring a very powerful megaphone to the local issues of the community.
I firmly believe that Monsieur Poilievre is too busy with his own personal ambitions to give a rat's backside about us.
10 candidates took part in the debate. Out of the more than 200 who have registered to run, contenders answered a range of questions about immigration, healthcare, agriculture, and the economy. The by-election triggered when the MP who won the riding in the spring election resigned, so Poilievre could run in his place after the Tory leader lost his Ottawa area riding. Tomorrow on CTV News, Ribfest returns to London. Our Nick Paparella will be live at Victoria Park with all the details on what to expect this long weekend. That's tomorrow on CTV News at 6.
Kicking off the best of summer fun. Thank you to Melissa Hill for sending this photo in. As we head into August, I'll be sharing all of your summer fun photos, so keep them coming in. We have some rain in the forecast as we head into your Thursday morning, but clearing by the afternoon and setting up for an absolutely spectacular holiday weekend. Lots of sunshine, low humidity, and cool nights.
Authorities at Pearson Airport say they're investigating a private plane landing which reported landing gear issues after touching down. The pilot managed to taxi to the runway before making a stop. There were 2 crew members on board and no injuries have been reported. Friends, family, and many fans honored the late Ozzy Osbourne today. Thousands of fans lined the funeral procession route in Birmingham, England, paying respects to the Black Sabbath frontman. Many have made pilgrimages to the sites around Osbourne's hometown since he died last week at the age of 76, following years of health struggles. A Windsor woman is back up and walking 9 months after a serious crash cost her one of her legs. As Michelle Molesky reports, with the help of a prosthetic, she's getting back behind the wheel.
Now I get to chase my kids and say, don't make me take my foot off.
Kim Labonte lost her right leg in October 2024. Less than 10 months later, she's learning how to live with a prosthetic.
It's kind of a love-hate relationship so far.
Love because of this.
I can finally do the stairs. I love that I can stand up and walk and stand up to put my clothes away and just stand up and walk.
Labonte quips she's forgotten how tall she is.
When we are out and about and I'm in my chair, I'm at everybody's butt level. When I finally get to stand up, it's like, oh my God, that's what it looks like up here.
On the other hand, her phantom pains are back.
My leg hasn't had any weight on it for 9 months. When I put it on in the morning, even though my toes are silicone, I feel my toes move.
It's exhausting learning how to walk again, she says. 3 blocks does her in, but she never gives up.
I got my driver's license back. I can now drive with my left foot.
Labonte is waiting on the insurance company to settle her claim so she can buy a new car and get back behind the wheel, even though she says it was an inattentive driver who caused these injuries in the first place. Labonte hopes her story motivates drivers to focus on the road every time.
I just want people to open up their eyes. It takes 1 second. I almost lost my life.
In Windsor, Michelle Molesky, CTV News.
London's top stories.
We have breaking news tonight out of Ottawa. The latest in the
breaking news alerts.
I'm tracking an area of severe weather. It'll start.
And watch live.
A development now to a story from City Hall we brought you.
Download the CTV News app.
Finally tonight, a small flock of Newfoundland sheep with a whole island to themselves. They take it over every summer, free to roam as they please. Garrett Berry reports.
A house call like no other, as his father and grandfather did before Keith Morey boards this boat to care for his flock on Ship Island. Here, the sheep roam free from predators and free to graze on salty, windswept grass that Morey believes improves the animal's flavor when the lambs get to the plate.
Coyotes are so numerous now, and they're getting bolder all the time. They're out in the middle of the day. It's just, this for us, this is a godsend, having this safe haven.
It's a cooperative of sorts. A handful of farmers share this island near Torscove in Newfoundland and share the labor of upkeep. It takes all of them, and more besides, to herd the animals, to check them for worms and other illnesses. This tradition has changed a lot. Lambs used to be caught one by one, brought down to the boat by rope. Now, the biggest challenge is getting enough people to herd.
The sheep that come here year after year, and some are leaders, and they know the routine. Sometimes you come out, as soon as they see us coming up over the bank, they say, especially in the fall of the year, they almost come running to the chute because they know it's time to go home.
There was even a surprise today, what the farmers called bonus lambs, 2 newborns, maybe just a week old, first spotted today.
It's pretty cool to see that, that sheep had a set of twin lambs, healthy twin lambs out here, less than a week ago with no human intervention at all.
Keith's nephew, Matt, and his son, Liam, are part of the next generation.
It was just the way of life, so me committed to taking this over, it's always been, it's in my blood,
They say they're bucking the trend. They will keep this farming alive, even if fewer and fewer of their peers are interested. Garrett Berry, CTV News in Ship Island, Newfoundland and Labrador.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. I'm back tonight with your late news at 11. Bye for now.